Welcome. One day, a lawyer came to Jesus and asked him, "What is the greatest commandment?" And Jesus responded, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself." So today I'm going to tell you a story about a man who took these two commandments very seriously. Long ago there was a man named John Chapman, but we know him by his nickname, Johnny Appleseed. You might even know a special blessing that sometimes we sing that was inspired by Johnny. See if these words sound familiar. "The Lord's been good to me, and so I thank the Lord for giving me the things I need, the sun and the rain and the apple seed. The Lord's been good to me." Amen. Johnny was known for living a simple and helpful life. He loved God, he loved people, and he loved animals. But the two things that he loved doing the most were reading his Bible and planting apple trees for people to enjoy. Johnny grew up during the American Revolution at a time when pioneers were going west into unknown territory. And Johnny knew everything there was to know about apples. He knew how deep to plant the seeds and how to water the warm earth so that the seeds would sprout. And when the trees were big enough to make an orchard, he knew how to tend them and to prune them and how to keep them separated so they would grow into fine, healthy trees and produce lots of fruit. He even knew that when you had to move a tree, you had to dig it up and wrap the roots with wet moss so that the roots wouldn't dry out. He also learned how to make apple cider and to collect the seeds and save them after the juice had been squeezed out. Now, Johnny knew these two commandments of loving God and loving neighbor, and he decided that he was going to follow these commandments. And so when he was old enough, he took his Bible and he took a sack of apple seeds and an axe and a shovel and a hoe, and he slung them over his shoulder, but he didn't have room for his cooking pot. So he took his cooking pot and he put it on his head and he wore it as a hat. It was a very practical hat. Now, Johnny was not known for his sense of fashion, but he was known for his kindness and his love of other people. He loved his neighbor as himself. In fact, most of those neighbors he never even met. For you see, Johnny decided to travel out west before the pioneers did, so that he could plant apple trees, so that when they got there, perhaps there would be apples. And that would be at a time when food was scarce and they were traveling on the road. I can imagine him at night, lying down, looking up at the stars, and perhaps dreaming about a time when children could climb up into his trees and pick apples and eat his juicy apples and make apple dishes like apple pies and apple sauce and apple cider. And those would be the kind of things that he would want for people because he had such a passion for apples. Planting apple trees was the perfect way for Johnny to love his neighbors. It was a simple concept, but it took lots of time and knowledge and planning and sacrificial love. God had given him a talent of all things apple, and this was the way he could show God how much he loved him and appreciated that talent, and how much he loved his neighbors and could help them. I wonder what kind of talents you have been given and how you might share them with others to show that you love your neighbors as yourself. There is a Christian songwriter by the name of Danny Gokey, and he has a song out right now, and the words to it are this: gotta keep it real simple, keep it real simple. Bring everything right back to ground zero, 'cause it all comes down to this: love God and love people. Love God and love people.